Hi there, how are you? Welcome. We'll get started in just a moment. I am currently fiddling around with all of these sharing details. Well, I don't know if that's going to function the way I like it, but that's all right. Let's get started. Hi. I'm seeing only one person here, and I don't know if I can modify the details. I don't know how I can support you best. I guess the thought is perhaps I could give you maybe a truncated version of the presentation. Or if you would like, you can just ask me questions in the chat or the Q&A. That's perfectly fine. My name is Christine, and it's great to have you here. I represent Cambridge, and I am the Global Training and Author Support Manager. I also work quite a lot with librarians in trying to support authors on their journey and their paths to publication. And we're here today to talk about, of course, your transformative agreement. Yeah, so again, if you've got any questions, great. We've got a couple of people here, which is awesome. Thank you so much for joining today. You'll see that this has been set up. Actually, I was going to modify it because they're quite small. So if you put anything in the chat, that's only going to come directly to me. But if you put something in the Q&A, that will be, I believe, visible by everybody. So yeah, feel free to do as you need to do. Yeah. So let's briefly get started. Um, if my internet lags, I apologize in advance. It has not been acting properly today. But let me share my screen. I'm going to do this. Okay, and hopefully you are able to see me, which is a good thing, I hope. So today we're going to talk about your transformative agreement. Just to be very clear, I had somebody in a recent presentation who I'm never discourage people from showing up, but some presentations are geared toward particular groups or individuals. So this presentation is very distinctly geared toward librarians and how you can manage from your side your transformative agreement. I'm also going to function under the assumption that you are not familiar with a transformative agreement and what you may or may not need to do with it from Cambridge. Um, if some of this is kind of beneath your level, just let me power through. It's just to make sure we're all on the same page. So I am not attempting to talk down to you. I'm literally just making sure we're very, very clear. So, to get us started, if it goes. All right, so today we're going to talk about open access, what that is, if you're not familiar with that, which you likely are if you're a librarian. We're going to talk about your transformative agreement, what that means. And essentially, I'm going to give you a few bits and pieces, maybe some recommendations for the easiest way for you to manage your transformative agreement, especially if you're based in the United States. If you are, or perhaps based in that area. Obviously, every region is distinct, every institution is unique, but many transformative agreements tend to function under the same principles throughout the world. And then we're going to talk about how to support and promote your transformative agreement, which can be a bit of a challenge. I know that librarians are not marketeers, and neither am I, to be blunt. But there are ways that Cambridge wants to support you as best we can to get this like knowledge of the value of your TA out to your institution. So, just as a reminder of who we are at Cambridge, everything we do is based around kind of ethical standards and tradition. So, if there are any sort of challenges to what's coming up, the goal is that we are the absolute gold best standard for ethical and practice with integrity. Yeah, we've been around for over 500 years now, thanks to Henry VIII, which is pretty wild. Yeah, and we really want to kind of stand on the foundation that of our highest and utmost integrity, which is where all of this is coming from, and to support the scholarly community in that. So we currently publish more than 450 peer-reviewed journals, often, and I'm going to talk about this in a second, but often on behalf of some societies or particular institutions. But we do run the gamut. We cover all of the sorry, subject areas, which hopefully is a useful thing. Feel free to mention that to authors. I hope that's some helpful information. We are not limited, although we probably do have strengths in some areas over others, but we do definitely touch on a lot of different things. Um, of those 450, 60% are the societies or institutions we publish on behalf of, and more than 50% are published under the open access model. And if you're not familiar with open access, I'm going to talk about this in a minute, but our goal at Cambridge is to go fully open access, I believe, by 2030. That's kind of the goal we're aiming for. And we, as just kind of people who are working in the academic portion at Cambridge University Press, get updates very regularly about journals that have what we call flipped to become open access or in the process of being flipped, which we find very exciting. We very much stand behind this principle. We are a world leader in being the people to make our content available for everyone. The end. No paywall, no struggle to get there for the advancement of the world. So that's where, of course, transformative agreements come into play. So to be very clear, open access is a publishing model that makes research available to literally everybody, anybody at no cost. And essentially, the transformative agreement is what is paying for that for the whole world. And then, as a kind of agreement in kind, essentially, the publisher, in this case, us, we say, all right, great. Thank you for paying for, I don't know, other people as well as yourselves. So, as kind of an agreement, what we say is, great, we're happy to publish your authors at your institution essentially for free as part of this package deal, which I think is absolutely phenomenal. So this is kind of the clarified content. If you're not familiar with what a transformative agreement is, you probably already are, but I'm going to say it again, bears repeating. So it is a publisher, it's slash institution symbiotic contract and relationship, really, that facilitates open access readership as well as publication. So, of course, the only way that an author could potentially use your transformative agreement deal is if they seek to publish in an open access journal. Like I said, not all of our journals are currently open access, so these are things that they're going to have to pay attention to. So, yeah, and that is, of course, a huge perk for the author, and you're probably aware of that. So definitely think on their behalf, whatever role you have at your institution's library. Yeah, it's a great thing to kind of talk up, even in passing, whether or not you're the, I don't know, the writing tutor or the research librarian, what have you. Mention this because this could be life-changing. I recently spoke with somebody who paid the APC to have an article published at a different journal, a different publisher, and they were talking about how it cost them. They were based in Spain, cost them over 2,000 euros, which is a lot of money, especially for somebody who's on a lower salary, maybe still working on their PhD. So yeah. I think you'll also get a lot of loyalty from that as well. So it's not a bad thing to talk about wherever you are. So your institution, I am assuming, based on the fact that you're here, does have a transformative agreement with Cambridge University Press. And if you're ever looking for anything that has to do with us, I'm just always going to say go to Core, go to Core, go to Core, go to Core. Core is where we host all of our journals. And today I am talking, of course, specifically about journals because that's what the transformative agreement covers. Yeah, so this is Cambridge Core. You'll get a link to these slides. After the presentation. And I am also, sorry, I didn't mention this earlier. I am recording this presentation for your own benefit. So you have access to it in future in case you have any questions and you want to just kind of come back and check something. But yes, I'm going to say go to Core, and this is where your content is going to be. So if you have an author wondering, okay, does this Cambridge Journal fall under our transformative agreement? This is the place to look. It's quite easy. You can Google Cambridge eligibility checker, and this should come up. This is also a live link, but essentially what you do is you kind of enter your location. It's probably your country, and then then there will be an additional drop-down menu, and then you'll find the name of your institution. And then after that, you're just going to see a massive list kind of load of all of these different journals that are attached into your TA, which usually tends to be the majority, of course. And these, of course, are the ones that do have open access possibilities where so authors can check, can recognize, oh, yes, it is possible for me to potentially publish with this particular journal on the transformative agreement. So, let's move into some top tips, shall we say, best practices for managing your transformative agreement. I would recommend maybe you have that up in front of you right now. You don't have to do all these things. I'm not going to be showing you the keystrokes, but I am just going to kind of show you some screenshots about best things. It's not especially complicated, which I hope is a happy thing for you to hear. But yeah, the goal is for you just to make your own life easier as well as your colleagues' lives easier. So when we're talking about kind of where you are in the publication process. So you really don't come into play with the authors in terms of your transformative agreement. Obviously, this is something maybe at the manuscript preparation stage if you're working a lot with an author. But yeah, you don't come into play really until it clicks on that APC transaction. So APC is article processing charge, which of course is what is essentially funded by the transformative agreement. We call it a 100% discount. It's free, right? That's on behalf of the author. So that's where that comes into play. So if authors are coming to you and saying, when do I need to pay? They're not going to need to pay until their article has been fully peer reviewed until they've submitted, fully peer reviewed, and they've gotten like full acceptance from this particular journal. Okay, now let's talk about you. So I know that I said everything lives on core. So I don't want to say that's an exception, but the way this works, and the way we manage all of our articles, submissions, and publication, kind of the go-between program is called RightsLink or Account Manager. Okay. So what you can do to make your lives easier, you can go in and automate the whole process for yourself so you don't have to manually approve every single article that comes through. So it's what's called touch free. So we would recommend that you go in and you automate that for yourself. You are more than welcome to manually approve everything. That's completely up to you. If you'd like to have some visibility and control on that, go right ahead. But for the most part, most people's TAs cover essentially every article that comes through. And I'm going to mention this again later, but we do actually check every time an author is putting an article through us. We do actually check to make sure that that publication is accurate and correct. And it is eligible to be published under the transformative agreement. So we would recommend that you put in automatic approval, so you don't have to worry about that. Yeah, so they don't have to kill themselves, and you don't have to kill yourselves to figure that out either. Cambridge will manage the eligibility check. They're going to say yes or no. So it's basically like a two-tier system, like just making sure this is covered. Yes, yes, it is. So, some things you can do. So first of all, the only way that you can log into RightsLink for the first time for your institution, if you're new to this, is via an email. Whatever the email is that was given, the email address, to us, we've sent essentially a login link there. So I'd recommend you go and do that. Then from there, I'd recommend that you ensure all of your contacts are added, and I'll show you a screen for that. Then flip on the auto approvals that I've just mentioned. You can also do notifications to kind of get maybe dings or emails that are triggered when an article gets accepted and goes through. And I'm going to show you where the report button is, where you can see your reports. And we just recommend also that you bookmark the page. Maybe you've got a list of, I'm not sure if your institution has other transformative agreements, but yes, you're able to come back and look and have some oversight per the time and attention that you want to give to it. Okay, so this is loading all contacts. Again, not very hard. You can change your name, but you cannot change your email if you'd like that for yourself. So this is the bottom bit. If you wish to change the email address that you use to log into Agreement Manager or RightsLink with, contact us. We can take care of that for you. Maybe you had a colleague leave, and I don't know, any sorts of possibilities. We understand and we're happy to help with that. Yeah, and you can edit your contact information, but I would recommend that you add all contacts so there's no question when, I don't know, an author's bit comes through whether or not they're attached to their institution. institution. And of course, that's how they should be submitting their work in the first place, that there is attachment to their institution. They should be using their institutional email address. Yeah, so hopefully that's a helpful thing. Help yourself out with that. And then turn on automatic approvals so you don't have to go through ticking approve or deny for every single one. Maybe you have like a really small institution and you don't think you're actually going to be publishing that much and you'd rather do this manually. That's fine. Like perfectly fine, but also saves you a bit of work. So yeah, we're here to help you out. And again, feel free to use the notifications feature as well. I also want to draw your attention. We've got the three little pieces right here. I'm not sure if you can see my mouse, but we've got billing profiles. We've got funding requests, which is what we're currently talking about, billing profiles on the previous page, and then reports. We will be sending you a quarterly report about, how many times people have published and also potentially other information in the past quarter or so, and that's where these are going to live. You can also get more information from reporting on core itself about how core is being used, but again, that's a bit of a separate thing. This is about publication, the authors who are publishing specifically. Okay, great. So, if you choose to deny something, that is a bit unique, because for the most part, every institution, basically with what you've paid for, um, everything should be covered. It's a pretty rare thing. Those agreements do exist in the world, but I'd say they're under 5% of all of our agreements across the planet. So yeah, this is a real anomaly. So you need to give a reason for why there's a denial of the publishing this author's work or paying to publish this author's work. Yeah, and it looks like you've got some that you can choose from and get specific, or maybe you've seen something, a strange thing come through, just flag it. That's okay. It's entirely up to you. I mean, we're not going to judge, but just saying that this is a necessity. Okay, so after you've done all that, hopefully it's all set up and ready to go, and there's very little you should have to do. Which is great. So the flip side of this coin is how are people going to know that this thing exists? Well, I'm not going to give you the silver bullet here, but we do have a few ideas for you. Again, I know we're librarians. I'm at that, and you are not a marketer. I also am not in marketing at all. But you need to think about how you're going to reach your people. Where are their eyes? What are they already reading? Also, what comms are you already putting out there? Are there regular comms from the library? Do you have a listserv for all your graduate students or postgraduate students? I don't know. Promote things on established channels. Heck, even make some posters, like make it flashy and eye-catching. Don't clutter it up too much. But yeah, help them and help you really like promote this thing. You've paid for it. You want it to get used, right? Yeah, and point to authors to what they want to see. So in a sense, you really have to put yourself in their shoes. It's just like putting yourself in, I don't know, a consumer's shoes if you're trying to sell something. Okay. So, all right. So think about the fact, of course, authors are going to want to see an opportunity for free publication. That's pretty amazing. So think about how they might be able to take that information in. And then we also recommend that you actually link your agreement, as well as any support pages, and I'm going to show you a few of those in a minute, to any content that you're creating on your library site already. Authors are usually pretty prepared and ready to do some reading, especially if they're already working on PhDs or beyond. So yes, help yourself out and link that content to your own page, especially if you've got author support pages you've already made. Here's a toolkit that our marketing team has made. Feel free to use that. These links are still valid and they should be clickable when this PowerPoint comes through to you. But yeah, feel free to also use the QR code here. This should bring you right there. This is just going to be a link to a particular core page where this information exists. Yeah, so I would recommend feel free to use this content, use it, print it, promote it, send it through. Like it's for your use, so you don't have to do kind of the heavy lifting when it comes to design, etc. Yeah, speaking of core, these are kind of all of the things that are available for you on core, that you can modify, etc., that you can manage, whatever. This is pretty specific, to a particular user. I'm not going to get really heavy-handed in that, but I just want to let you know that that exists. And then for you as a librarian, this is what I was saying. You can also get more information about like your holdings listing, like what's available. You can download mark records. You can see existing marketing materials or actually make requests for bespoke marketing materials if you think that your institution needs more than what you've just already found. Yeah, you can also download counter usage reports. Yeah, there's a lot of content that's available for you here. So don't be afraid to use that and check that out as well. Now, if your articles, sorry, if your authors are interested in publishing, we do get the question a lot like, oh, how do I submit? Literally at the top of every single journal page is a button just like that. And that's where authors need to go if they want to submit to a journal. So just point them in that direction, say, yep, okay. So you've picked the journal. That's great. This is how you submit when you're ready. And that sends them through to the OPRS, the online peer review system, where of course it takes time and effort and communication between everybody before the article is accepted for publication, and it would come through to your inbox or your RightsLink, essentially, where it would get approved and move forward from there. So if authors are ever asking, this is where to point them. The same thing for authors. This is kind of what it actually looks like for them. So when they come to that stage, if they're a little nervous, they're like, oh, what do I do? Just tell them to tick the seek funding bit, seek funding from institution, which essentially means that it needs to attach into the TA and that'll flip on your side. It'll sort it for you. Or if authors are feeling particularly generous and want to pay out of their own pockets, they are more than willing. But of course, I recommend maybe save your cash because it's essentially been paid for you. Yeah, so these are some ways that Cambridge also wants to help you. Like I said, we do send you quarterly reports about publishing with article by article information, what the activity is. I'm not sure how detailed that gets exactly, but I do think they kind of give you as much information as they have. Yeah, it also talks about licensing, et cetera, because this is gosh, I don't want to get into licensing and author rights and your rights because they publish from your institution. Anyway, I think it's probably unique to every single institution, but it probably starts to touch on those elements as well, if that's information you need to know. Yeah, and then something else that we do. We're actively looking for this, and I just wanted to let you know there is such a thing called retroactive OA. What does that mean? Well, the very brief version is if an author has published with us previously while they were actually under a transformative agreement and they didn't take advantage of that, we go back and we say, hey, just letting you know, you actually could have published open access with your transformative agreement. And according to this, 74% of the time, authors are going to be like, yeah, sure, actually, absolutely, let's go for it. We are actively pursuing that. We are the ones reaching out to those authors. There's nothing you need to do, at least not in this case. There's nothing you need to do. The author outreach goes on throughout the year, and we're actively pursuing those authors to be like, hey, actually, do you want to change this? Which is, I hope, a helpful thing for everybody involved. The authors and publishers, or we could call them editors, whatever you like, there are a lot of points of contact. So if they're ever asking you, this is where we firmly stand on saying, yeah, actually, you will get communication from this. So at the submission point, they'll get a response throughout through in between even submission point and contract creation. There is maybe this should be in a different order, tailored messaging. There is a lot of communication and very specific coming back and forth to the author. So, and then once things are decided, that's when the contract comes through. Again, that's through from us, and there's no need for involvement by the librarian unless you're deeply invested in this particular person or particular work. Yeah, but if ever there's a question, also feel free to point authors or yourselves to reach out to us at oaqueries@cambridge.org. We're happy to get you in the right place and get you sorted where possible. Now, this content is all especially available for authors online. And if you want to use it, again, feel free to link to it on your own pages. Like, we're really happy for you to use this. It's there for a reason. It's there to help you out. We've got guides, resources, all kinds of stuff, Q&A pages, like what have you. Yeah, feel free to link anything to that. And in addition, we do also offer a lot of active trainings for authors. So if maybe you're feeling a little like, oh, I don't have time to do this myself, great, send them to us. I actually regularly hold kind of a set of sessions, anywhere from 4 to 6 every semester, essentially. Yeah, semester. So I've just finished our final workshop series for this fall term, and I'll be starting them again, I believe, next February or March. I run them usually about every 3 weeks, and we talk about kind of more advanced topics such as selecting the right journal, etc., navigating predatory journals, all sorts of topics that I can get into. And of course, librarians are welcome. It's all geared toward authors, but if you want to learn some more information from us, please join us anytime. As of right now, it's still free. So again, feel free to point your authors in the right direction. This is available for them. We also do publishing and open access kind of overview seminar because a lot of times authors are coming to this and they're just really unfamiliar with content. Something else that we have, and I don't actually have a link to it, but no, I'm going to send it to you later anyway, is our YouTube page where I have just live videos posted. They're nothing flashy, but they do actually cover a lot of valuable information. Um, yeah, so feel free to point authors in that direction as well if there are no live trainings visible that they are really seeking information for. So yeah, feel free to use those as well. Something else that we offer, and this is not free, although we are open to the idea of we're kind of exploring the concept of working with libraries to see if they would want to give us a chunk of money for us to provide kind of services at their discretion. So author services tends to cover. Actually, I'm going to skip to this. English language editing, academic translation, publication support, research communication. Maybe you're working with a lot of authors whose first language is not English and they're having a bit of a hard time, or they're just kind of getting a little sloppy with their writing. That's what these services are for. Right now, these are offered ad hoc. Authors have to purchase them themselves, which is perfectly fine. But yeah, if you're interested in getting that for your institution or purchasing those services, I like to call it a punch card. Kind of think 10 services for this overall price. And then you guys at your institution, it's up to you when to kind of offer an author, hey, you can go use this. Hey, you can go use this. Yeah, and or maybe it's you've got we're giving you $400, we're giving you $200, et cetera, of worth of services. Yeah, please be in touch with us. We'd love to have that conversation with you. We're starting those because there's been a lot of interest in that, and we really want to help, and we're always happy to help authors. So if you want to check out the page, this is a great place for it. You can also just Google Cambridge Author Services. It should be the first link that comes up. But yeah, hopefully that's useful for you. And also feel free to share this code. This code is available to any author right now. So if they want to get 10% off on their own, please feel free. I mean, save that change, right? Nothing wrong with that at all. Yeah. So that's essentially what I've got for you today. We talked about open access a little bit and kind of what a transformative agreement is, and gave you some tips and tricks on what to do to make your lives a little easier when it comes to that, and gave you a few ideas about how to support and promote your transformative agreement. This is a feedback form if you would like to give us feedback on what you thought of the presentation today. I am now more than happy to take questions. Actually, I'm going to see if I can expand this and see if anything has come through. You're more than welcome to put anything in the chat or in the Q&A, and I am happy to share that with you. I can't promise perfection, but I will do my best. I'm actually going to advance the screen one more, if I can find it. There we go. Also, please feel free to reach out to us at OA Queries or at Academic Training. That is my team's inbox, and we will happily point you in the right direction. Yeah. Does anyone have any questions at all? Thanks so much for being here, John. I appreciate that. I'll give this a minute or two more, but yes, maybe you are furiously typing away. But yes, regardless, we'll get back to you and we'll send you a copy of these slides and a private unlisted link on YouTube to this presentation, hopefully for your future edification if you ever want to come back to it. seeing nothing, unless you are furiously typing, then please run to raise your hand. I think I'm going to finish it from here. Thank you so much for being with me today, and I hope you guys have a great rest of your day. Thank you so much. Thank you.